Yeah, so there are a group of people who think that it's easy to make code parallel, and then there's another group of people who think it's hard to make code parallel. But both groups end up bumping into the same problems. So wherever you're coming from, it's still... And the biggest single issue is how to deal with resources that are shared. So once you make your program parallel, then there are different parts of your program running together at the same time, both trying to access, for instance, variables, and if they both access at the same time, then there's a danger that one part of the parallel program will affect the results of the other part of the parallel program. So it's to do with things that we call data races, and so the issue is how to get code that's maybe years old, and where people have written and not much care has been taken about how to privatize the data that we're dealing with, how to make that so it's more parallel friendly. Yeah, so when you make code parallel, there's two sides to this, I think. One is if you have a piece of code that's not really doing a lot of work, but you make it parallel, then the effort or the overhead of making the code run parallel is in excess of the work that's being done. So it's the beginning the threading and the ending the threading is end up being more dominant than the work inside. So in that circumstance, then you could make code parallel because there isn't sufficient work being done in the parallel part of the code. Then you don't see a benefit. In fact, sometimes you could see a real slowdown. The other part, if I can add, is that it's not quite an answer to your question, but it's always worth asking the question, before I make my code parallel, is it not better just to buy a faster machine? And it really is worth asking that question, because sometimes that's the easy solution. Okay, yeah, so over the last number of years I've been involved in different companies have been wanting to analyze their code for performance. So that's usually been the main requirement. For some people it's been, can I make my code faster and make it parallel? And what I've been doing is creating a number of case studies and trying to log the process that they've gone through, record the things that they found easy to do, the things that were hard, what the results were. And so in the session that we've just had, for instance, then I presented 5 case studies where 3 of the case studies people were successful in making their code parallel. In the other cases it was not possible because it was either too hard work or there's something about the code that made it just not practical to make parallel. So these case studies I've been working on, presented today, and also they're in a book that I've been working on that will be being published later this year.